Okay, sorry about all that. Let's try this again. Here begins the story of Alana, as told by the storyteller. The Lost One and the Seeker, Part 1, The Fall of the Cylon. When the darkness awakens, it will sleep, until the one to come awakens from sleep and falls into the darkness. The Prophecy of Darren, High King of the Cylon. Chapter 1. Malda, 17 Dynok. Beyond the gates of the celestial world of Malda, and from his dwelling in the brilliance of white light, the guardian Turarel stood at the pinnacle of his castle parapets, looking down across the vast expanse of Malda unto the lower world of Erna. His eyes unmoving, his gaze pensive, the greatest of the guardians resembled one of the somber and regal statues that the people of Erna had crafted to honor him, long before, when piety had been new, and devotion fervent and enthusiastic. Beside him, in her mantle of resplendent silver, his twin sister Orla turned to him, her gleaming countenance now a mirror of his own, darkened and troubled. Turarel, do you hear? Yes, Orla, I do hear it. The Vordans have set themselves against our very gates. I hear our own voices in song, and our own voices holding converse, but they are not our own. The Vordans have taken them, our many words echoing in the heart of Erna. But how? O good Turarel, how? The ways are closed to them. The greatest of the guardians breathed a long, slow sigh. Alas, no longer. But the Vordans could only approach our gates through Erna, and our guardianship has long held fast the barriers which have prevented them from crossing those boundaries. Yet, it would seem that now our guardianship has failed. Oh, Turarel, how? How have we been remiss? Not so, good Orla. It was not our failing, but the ones we guard. They, some of them, have rejected us. Who? Why? I am afraid they are the very ones we hold most dear. Oh, this is a terrible betrayal. Crystalline tears streamed down Orla's silvery countenance. Will the Vordans try to enter here? Are we in danger? No, they will not dare to attempt an ascent into this domain. But Erna is in great danger. We must remain steadfast. Our hold in Malda must endure, or the elemental fabrics of Erna will crumble into ruin. Turarel, what of Kinna? She lingers in Erna at this time. Oh, she will hear their stolen songs from afar and think it is we who sing. I know, but we cannot speak to her from this distance, and we dare not approach her while the Vordans sit at the gates. We must hope that she does not try to return until we can discover a way to warn her. And... Turarel paused, gazing down toward Erna. We must trust that Darren and Anaya will make the right choices, for they alone hold the lawful keys to what has been unlawfully opened. Only they can stop the Vordans now. For the first 13 years of her life, the Cylon Princess Alana had truly delighted in her dreams, for in them the stars shone with a greater brightness and clarity than while she was awake. Visited with these celestial communications, radiating a soft glow of ethereal light and permeated with a tinge of sweet music, her bedchamber was a very haven of peace and joy. What delighted her most about her dreams were the visitations of her guardian Kinna, who appeared to her in a visible manifestation of her supernal, glorious nature. In Alana's dreams, the guardian would come to educate her, conversing with her of sublime things, and she always awoke refreshed in mind and body and elevated in spirit. That is how it was for the first 13 years of her life. Then, one night, it all changed. Maladon, 22 Tara. It was early autumn. The great guardian Kinna sat with Alana on her balcony rail, overlooking the western district of Maladon, the Ceylon city, both of them watching in peaceful silence as the small red moon Tara slowly made her ascent over the eastern mountains, delicately illuminating the valley. Carried on a warm, late summer breeze, the music of flutes drifted toward them from an unseen source. The guardian's crystalline blue eyes shone with inner light, and she told Alana about the delights of dancing to such music, and even greater music, among the stars. Kinna promised to bring Alana there one day when she was old enough. Soon, perhaps. Alana sighed, resting her head against the marble pillar of the balcony. Dear Kinna, I wish I could go with you this night. It all sounds so lovely. When I look at Ariel's palace and imagine the splendor inside, my heart aches so, and I have such painful regret that it is all so very far away. Kinna's delicate fingers caressed the wisps of black hair on Alana's forehead, and the guardian's smile soothed the agitated girl. Child, you speak of the dwelling place of Ariel because it is the closest and most visible to you from here. But I tell you, there are many and more beautiful mansions high above his, so exquisite that your poor little heart could not contain it, and so, not just yet, child. Her voice resembled a gentle, flowing stream. Be patient. You will find more consolation in letting things come in their proper time, whereas hurrying will only result in the loss of the very things you desire, because you are not yet fit for them. Yes, I suppose. Alana, you cannot imagine what is inside those palaces. You try, but the images you create are based on what you see of the outside, and yet they are not the same. The outside attracts you by its visible beauty and draws you up to the higher things, but what is inside is of a different order and requires a different sort of knowledge, a different sort of seeing, which you do not yet possess. You shall, however, and sooner than you think. Indeed, your desire is itself the beginning of this knowledge. But my heart burns so, Kinna. I get so restless, and nothing satisfies it. Yes, and rightly so, dear one. If you were satisfied where you are, there would be nothing to draw you to the higher things. Understand, child, that the desire itself is what moves you, and will make you able to ascend to those palaces. But the object you seek right now is only the outside. You must learn of the inside, the spiritual things, and purify your desire to seek those. Then the author will grant you the ascent to those things, and ultimately to Ayla itself. Kinna's voice fell low and reverent at these last words, and she bowed her head. Then she continued, It is only with the most purified desire that you can ever be satisfied, Alana. Search your heart. If you stop at what you think you want right now, you will be happy neither with what you desire nor with yourself. Alana sighed again. Yes, I know, dear Kinna. They fell silent for a time, and Alana absorbed the warm breeze as it played in her long black hair and rustled her simple white nightgown. She saw how it likewise stirred Kinna's golden hair and flowing blue robes. Then she gazed up at the sparkling crystal of Ariel's palace, high overhead, and whispered, Forgive my words, but sometimes I just get so impatient for the things above. But I hope I do not lose sight of the right way to them. Kinna flashed a quick smile. That, little Alana, is why I am here, to instruct you. Consider this, child. Your desire should not really be for the things of life, but for life itself. If you understood this difference, you would even now be at peace, and wait serenely for whatever that life gives you. Already it is within you, like water vivifying a flower. Then you would truly appreciate the genuine beauty of these lower things that can so water your soul. Her luminous finger trailed on the marble of the balcony railing. For they are beautiful. The guardian's eyes gleamed as she added, But I do think you are ready for a little more, and we still have time tonight. Would you like to see Ariel's palace more closely? Alana started. Oh, Oh, Kinna! Would I? Rising gracefully, Kinna held out her hand to Alana, who scrambled to her feet. The ethereal guardian seemed so light and delicate that, though Alana could feel her touch, it was not so much through the sense of touch as it was from a penetrating awareness of protection, security, and love. Her luminous wings silent in the night air, Kinna raised Alana from the edge of the balcony, pulling her close as they floated out into the open above the Cylon Palace. Alana clung to the guardian as the exhilaration of this first experience of flight swept through her. Beneath them, the ground receded rapidly as they ascended past the palace walls and beyond the highest tower. In a few short moments, the girl was able to take in the vast extent of the palace courtyards and outlying houses, which cascaded away from them, growing smaller and smaller. Suddenly, the huge, hulking shapes of the mountains were all around them, and never had the world felt so large to her, so open. The long valley that descended from the palace into the white city of Maladon spread out before them like a dark river. Then it seemed little more than a stream, and was soon almost indistinguishable amid the craggy slopes of the black mountain sides. They were now very high in the open air, and Alana trembled as she clutched Kinna's blue robe. A moment later they alighted upon the peak of the tallest of the mountains, Maladarin, in whose great shadow the Cylon Palace had been built. With Kinna's arm wrapped around her as they stood there, Alana felt safe and secure once more. With a sort of giddy delight, she beheld the pinnacles of the castle towers far, far below them, mere specks to her now, and she thrilled at standing on the bare rock of this highest peak, surrounded by nothing but the silent night air and majestic glow of the stars. To the right, the moon Tara blazed with red fire against the vast darkness of the night sky. She seemed to be smiling at them in greeting. But what struck Alana far more than any of this was the palace. Oh, what a palace! Suspended in the air immediately before them. Oh, she gasped. Oh, how beautiful! Alana could hardly believe that this was the star, Ariel's star itself. It appeared to descend toward them, or they were drawn out toward it, she could not tell which, and it so overwhelmed her field of vision that she leaned back upon Kinna in reverential fear. All at once the palace was like a vast ocean before her, yet it felt like she could almost, reach out and actually touch it with her fingers. Indeed, she was surprised to see her own hand stretching out toward it, but she drew it back in caution, as the wind whistled about her and made her feel vulnerable. She again glanced downward. It would be an easy, deadly fall from here. Crystal gates, glittering brilliant white, reflected in Alana's wide-open eyes, and the torrents of water in huge fountains glinted and sparkled, its frolicking clarity tickling her ears, nothing like the earthly water below. Lights beamed from the windows of every house and tower, and the sound of music began to emerge, music so intricate that she was entranced by its beauty. The trilling of crystalline harps tore at her very heartstrings, and the haunting, flowing melodies of diamond flutes took her very breath. Gentle tears streamed down her face. Never before had she heard such melodies, such harmonious strains entwining themselves. Dance to such music? This music itself was dancing. As if guessing her thoughts, Kinna gave a soft laugh. Such a carefree, jovial spirit is he. Little Ariel often has nighttime concerts in his Ernaean palace. He is so fond of music, as is the author himself. Then why is his palace so low in the sky, Kinna? Alana kept her voice near a whisper, for she did not want her own raspiness to disrupt the audible beauty that surrounded her. I cannot imagine anything more lovely, but you said there are more majestic palaces higher in the sky. It seems unfair. The author loves music, the guardian replied, but surely values the virtues of the soul even more. Music is very much a thing of material nature, and can please the spirit through emotion, but the virtues are of the very essence of the spirit. Raising her hand, she pointed upward. My palace, for instance, signifies my office, which is the understanding heart of love, in which I endeavor to instruct you yourself as my chosen student, little one. Alana looked to where she pointed and glimpsed a spark of blue fire, flickering far above them. At the same time, she became aware of a peculiar stirring in her heart, and she felt she grasped what Kinna meant, for though she saw very little, she treasured this experience even more deeply than the music she now heard. If you only knew that sort of music, Alana. They stayed there for a time, Alana knew not how long, the soft music lilting toward them from the grand palace through a delicate, hushed silence. The gleaming lights emanating from the otherwise darkened sky seemed to permeate her, to her very fingertips and the tendrils of her hair. When at last they returned to the balcony, Alana was in a daze, hardly conscious of the return flight. Kinna gently set her down in her place next to the pillar and brushed back her dark hair. Ah, child, I think you enjoyed that. Alana's eyes reflected Kinna's blue fire. Oh, Kinna, thank you for taking me. I so hope to return again. I will certainly bring you into the Ernean heavens again, little Alana, and to higher and grander dwellings than Ariel's. As your knowledge of the higher things grows, you will come to know the life of Malda and become familiar with the celestial realms. Then, one day, you will come to live there forever and be glorified in the lightsome realm of Ayla. This is the destiny of all in the mortal world, if they but choose to attain it. Alana clasped her hands and whispered, Oh, I can hardly wait. It does, of course, take preparation, but that is one reason I come to you, to prepare you, and... Kinna hesitated, looking up into the sky, her smile lessening somewhat. She seemed to be searching for something among the lofty stars, her eyes scanning back and forth, as if reading a cryptic message. Finally, she added, in a softer tone, And to protect you. Alana frowned, as the joyful levity of the past minutes diffused and departed from her. Protect me? She said. Protect me from what? Kinna transferred her gaze to Alana, and their eyes remained locked for several seconds. There was such a profound depth in the guardian's eyes. Alana was aware of being on the threshold of realities she could not fathom, but she also found that she could muster the resolve to meet them and not be compelled to look away. Finally, Kinna nodded thoughtfully. Yes, I think you are now able to understand a little more. Verily, the words I find in your heart tonight tell me you are ready. Again she looked up into the sky, searching. This is now the time, is it not? She whispered, but not to Alana. The guardian seemed uncertain, if that were possible for such a celestial being. Alana's frown held steady as she tried to quell the knot of worry forming in her stomach and threatening to spread throughout her. Then she said, Ready for what, dear Kinna? Kinna breathed a delicate sigh. It may be hard for you to understand for a while, little one. Let me begin by saying that, because of the nature of the world as it is now, and what has come before in the entrance of evil into the world, the author requires you to be tested. Alana leaned forward. Tested? For what? Oh, pray, do not be anxious, Kinna said with a light laugh. I will tell you all in good time. The purpose of testing is to prove your love, Alana, your dedication to the true goods of life, of which I told you before. You must learn to overcome the enticements and the fears of evil, to solidify your love of the ways of truth and goodness, and to perfect your weaknesses. Verily, it is the combat and triumph over adversity that strengthens and perfects. Thus, by the author's will, this will be your path to what you are meant to be. Alana pondered what Kinna had said, that she was now ready. When she spoke, her voice wavered. Dearest Kinna, when will this be? It was then that it happened. First, the music in the valley below ceased abruptly. Then, in the sky above, the stars suddenly dimmed and shrank back, far back against the blackness beyond, until they were hardly visible, mere pinpoints of light. Alana and Kinna both started in alarm, the girl falling back against the marble pillar, and the guardian springing to the very edge of the balcony, her wings twitching as she scanned the somber sky. Darkness enveloped them, and their eyes were drawn to the east. Tara was there, but what a change! Shrunken and shadowed, emitting a sickly blood-red light in place of her former crimson fire. A whistling gust of wind swept across the balcony, and the night grew suddenly cold. Alana wrapped her arms about herself, shivering. Kinna, what? The guardian's eyes darted back and forth across the sky. I cannot hear them. The others, she whispered. I cannot think this was what he meant. She looked deep into the sky. Please tell me. Please. Is this what you meant? I was not expecting this. Kinna, what's happening? Alana cried again. The fear she saw in her guardian smote her with a greater chill than any air could have. How could a guardian be afraid? As if with difficulty, Kinna lowered her eyes to meet the girls, and again Alana was struck by their dull and lifeless aspect, so alien and disorienting compared to the vibrant depth she had seen only moments before. No, this could not be happening. This could not be real. I cannot speak with the other guardians, Kinna weakly whispered. I do not know what this means, but I must ascend to Malda at once to find out. She staggered, steadying herself against a marble pillar. I will return to you when I can, dearest little Alana. Be at peace. Trust in the author. Then she was gone. Kinna! Kinna, no! No!